So you mentioned that in the UK you divert people out of the criminal justice system
Yeah.
if they're thought to be mentally ill.
Yeah.
What happens in Queensland?
In Queensland, there's a similar system in that there's a diversion process. But there are some key differences.
Okay.
So in Queensland, you are referred to the mental health court if someone believes that you have a mental illness
Right.
or an intellectual disability.
Okay.
It's worded slightly differently in the Mental Health Act, but that's effectively the two criteria.
Yep.
And you can be referred by your solicitor, by the minister, you may be able to refer yourself, I can't quite remember. But so you get referred to the Mental Health Court.
Yep.
They then make an assessment of your case,
Yep.
and if they believe there's enough sort of prima facie evidence to believe that you were either of unsound mind at
Yep.
the time of the alleged offence,
Yep.
or you are unfit to stand trial in the standard criminal justice system, then they hear your case, and the case is heard by a Justice of the Supreme Court and two assisting psychiatrists. Evidence is given as to whether the person's of unsound mind or was unfit to plead, or is unfit to plead rather, and then they make a determination. And if you are found of unsound mind at the time of the offence or unfit to plead at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
then you are the case according to law is ceased,
Yep.
and you are either given a forensic order,
Yep.
or I believe the Mental Health Court can cease the criminal proceedings according to law and not put you on a forensic order, but order some other form of community treatment.
Okay. So a forensic order, what happens to you if you get put onto a forensic order?
It depends on where your forensic order starts, but effectively it puts your movements and behaviour under the control of another person.
Right.
So if you're detained under the Mental Health Act under a forensic order,
Yep.
then your treating psychiatrist effectively says what treatment you have to have, where you live, when you can go out, who you can see when you're out. So it's very, very broad.
Yep.
The Forensic Disability Act is part of the Mental Health Act in some ways. It's a standalone act, but most of the powers that are in it are sort of a direct reference to the Mental Health Act.
Yeah.
And a similar system applies, except that it's a senior clinician rather than a psychiatrist.
So do you just stay on these orders indefinitely, or do they get reviewed at some point?
Yeah, they get reviewed every 6 months by the
Right.
Mental Health Review Tribunal. The most common lament of someone on a forensic order tends to be, I wish I'd gone to prison. Because
Right.
if you go to prison, you get a tariff, you know when you're going to get out, and as long as nothing significant happens while you're in prison, then you know what your release date is, and on your release date, off you go.
Yeah.
Under the Forensic Disability Act or the Mental Health Act, you're on a forensic order until your treating psychiatrist or the responsible clinician, senior clinician, says that you are no longer an unacceptable risk,
Right.
and persuades the Mental Health Review Tribunal that you're no longer an unacceptable risk. So it's the job of the Mental Health Review Tribunal to make a determination about kind of core aspects of your detention under the Mental Health Act or
Yep.
the Forensic Disability Act. And over time what happens is you get a thing called limited community treatment. Some people start their forensic order with a lot of limited community treatment,
Yep.
so they will be deemed a reasonably low risk. They'll
Yep.
put on a forensic order and immediately have a large amount of limited community treatment, and they'll be off in the community and will meet with their clinical team and
Yep.
their psychiatrist or psychologist once every week, month, 2 months. Some people will commence their forensic order in a high secure service. There's
Right.
a high secure mental health service in Waco, or at the Forensic Disability Service, or any number of regional medium secure services, and they might not have any limited community treatment for many, many weeks, months, or even years.
Right. So if someone goes down this particular route and they commit an offence but they're thought to be mentally ill,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of community suggestion that they're just getting away with it, that they're
Yeah.
not being punished.
Yeah.
But from what you're saying, it sounds like that this is a form of, well, I guess custody in some instances in its own form. So it's not sort of it's not punishment free. There's actually restrictions put on these people.
Yeah, you would. It's a complicated system. If you're found of unsound mind or of unfit to plead, then the case is ceased according to law.
Right.
So you've not been found guilty.
Yeah.
if you've been found of unsound mind, then the presumption is that no crime took place,
Right.
because you're not deemed eligible to have been able to commit a crime, because
Okay.
you can't form the intent to commit
Yeah.
a crime. So that forms the basis of the sort of theoretical perspective of why that group of people would have treatment rather than punishment.
Right.
But I think if you talked to any group of people who are detained in a forensic service, not forgetting that there's a lot of people on forensic orders in the community,
Yeah.
but people that are going through detention in a forensic service, I think they would feel, I mean, their liberty is restricted, often severely restricted. So the subjective experience of people who have been diverted from the prison system but into the secure mental health system is still one of loss of liberty.